So YouTube, how's it going? It's I don't know, 2:30 in the morning. Another one of these nights that I just wide awake. Just kind of looking at the riding mower a little bit earlier today, and I don't know if you can see at night, but Kyle took the big pile of stuff here and loaded the trailer for me. And this is normally the weekend that Brad and the kids come out, but Taylor had a couple of birthday parties to go to. Wasn't worth his time coming out here, but he'll be out tomorrow, nice, bright and early. So I'm thinking I might try and sleep tonight a little bit, but you never know. Anyway, I'm just closing down for the night. I was actually went with Scott out to our friend Dave's place. Dave is the one that owns the Z car that we're going to be running in Chump. In doing the preparations, Dave found out that some rust on the floor. He was trying to patch it, but it was just a little farther gone. So I went out to give an assessment too, and so Scott and I looked at it, and there was actually other things too. We want to move the dash a little bit to get the instruments facing the driver a little more, because it's a flat dash, and I'd like to change it to a different fuse box, one that I prefer to use, so I can actually run either glass fuses or resettable circuit breakers from highway tractors. So we're gonna replace the floor on the driver's side of the car. Well, I shouldn't say we. Dave's gonna do it, and I'm going to see what I can do to find some metal for him to do it with. And it's gonna be a fair amount of work to prep the car. I formed a list from information that the guys had sent me, and tried to prioritize things the best I could, and so we have a good game plan. I don't think Scott ever worked with a plan like that with his racing, and I didn't run complete lists of everything. I wasn't really anal about it, but I always made lists just for preparation, you know, things to check over every week before a race weekend. Just so I had no mistakes or no surprises when I got to the track. You know, you get there and you're supposed to be going out for practice laps or something, and find out that there's something wrong that you could have fixed at home nice and easy, and now you're out in the middle of nowhere and you're screwed. So I'll take care of some of that stuff. It's what we used to use for roll cage tubing. It's not proper roll cage tubing, but it worked. And it's basically just that pipe insulation that you peel and stick. I used this stuff in the non-critical areas in my car, but I did actually have the actual offset stuff, which the offset kind of tubing like this, it was thinner on this side and thicker on this side, so the hole was kind of offset, so you had more padding where you might hammer it. So I'm going to be mounting that stuff. Those are old pieces I was going to throw out, and then I realized, oh, the seal on my door is going. This door is warped and sagging, but it's just not in the budget to change yet. And when I close the door, there's about a 2-inch gap on this side and about an inch gap on the other side, and it's because the garage is sinking a little bit on the sides. The high spot's in the center, and then the door is sagging down in the middle. So between the two, they're not touching. So I'm just going to put that on the bottom, and that'll give me some additional seals. so it'll help. The seals on the door are pretty well dead anyway. You know, the garage was built in the 1980, and I don't know if you can't really see that, but this stuff is just, you know, it's drying, cracking. So it's still fairly flexible, but not enough for me. So anyway, just thought I'd let you know that we went out and looked at the car, and give you a little bit of a shot of what we got ahead of us with changing the dash, and I have to rewire some stuff. The kill switch that's on the in front of the windshield has to be moved inside the car. It has to be reachable by the driver while strapped in. And Scott and Dave are wondering about putting a cable on, because that used to be a way to do it too. You'd run like a wire cable that the driver could pull, but I'd rather just put it in the car where it belongs, because having a wire cable to pull, to me, I wouldn't trust it. Anyway, gonna head in the house. Was just checking up on some of the videos, and got a few more to go through. I don't know if I'll go through them tonight though. And anyway, we'll attach this to the front and of the video I'm making, and just show you some of the highlights. Anyway, catch you later. No, that's
the welder and pipes and sheet metal, and
yeah.
try and make it.
Hello, Scott. With the
Do you have time?
What's that?
Do you have time maybe later on back in
Yeah, I was going to.
I'll probably have to put this in. Maybe. Maybe. Yeah, but I'll see. He said he couldn't time it properly because he couldn't find the marks. But it seems it's worth keep that just Yeah. But the fact that it's an SI, so it's got nicer seats, it's got a tap in the dash, it's got sunroof, stuff that this one doesn't have. So stuff like that. So just have to wait, because when he got it, he was driving it because they didn't want to get it safety because the windshield's broken and stuff. So the friendly bought it. And it's hard enough to look out the rearview mirror in this car already. If we put another bar across here,
but it won't be that high.
We're gonna have
be low enough.
Yeah, it should be low enough.
We can't see any.
We'll have this.
What about putting the rearview mirror on the dash?
That's a possibility.
Where the tack is.
The other thing is to put a mirror on the right hand side as well.
Just one of those big 6x9 van mirrors. Yeah, I think the tube across the back of the seat. Slide it back as far as you can.
Yeah, put the tube right up against it.
Put the tube right against it.
Yeah, and then we'll make or almost right against it.
Yeah.
Because if we're gonna stick
half
something,
an inch.
yeah, if we're gonna stick another plate with a bar to make it adjustable, we need a little bit of room for that to be pushed all the way back.
Yeah,
in.
yeah. The most we're going to put is maybe a 3/16 or quarter-inch plate behind it. So.
Yeah. But what we should put against the back
Then you
of the
put
seat
a plate on the back
a
of the
plate
seat.
like this
Yeah.
size to spread the load. You don't
Yeah.
want a tube sticking in your back and you get hit from behind and get impaled with the with the tube in behind it. But if you got a big enough plate, that spreads the load. If you should get hit from behind.
No, I was just thinking about the bolts on the inside of the passenger
Yeah.
of the seat.
Yeah.
Oh, we'll plate it on the front side too.
Yeah.
Because it has to protect for fore and aft, so
Yeah.
you don't want the bolts to rip through the fiberglass.
Yeah, that's true.
If you had the plate and then you used square tubing coming back, and you had a piece of channel, with holes drilled through the channel, then you can just take the square tubing will slide anywhere in there.
Yeah.
And then you pin it.
Yeah.
But I don't think when it's pinned for an individual driver, it has to touch the seat back. It has to be close enough
Yeah,
so
well, it
the
has to
seat
be-
back
Well,
can rest on it
you
without,
have to be
without
able
losing
to.
its...
Yeah.
You have to be able to stop the seat from going forward. So it would have to be attached to the seat.
So how come
You
the
have to
rule
check
says
for
it's-
fore and aft.
Okay,
It does say that?
Yep.
Okay, I guess.
okay.
Because I've only more or less skimmed a couple of times. I haven't studied it in
No, I went
total
through.
detail.
I went through again
Okay.
I printed one. I should have
the last couple of days. Went through it again and
Okay.
updated the list a little more.
So we got to attach it to the seat.
About 2 5/8.
Hey, Shannon.
But the widest point up here, just before the kick up, it's about two and a half at the kick, where it kicks up here,
Okay.
and that's where it starts to get a little wider. It goes up to about it's up to about 2 5/8 or so.
Okay.
And like I said, down here it's just over 2 1/2. So probably 2 5/8.
Okay. And how far is it from?
Well, from the floor, it's about 1 1/4 inches, but then
Okay.
you should be measuring from the top of the piece.
Yeah.
So, you want just where the kick up is?
Yeah. Because that'll be the minimum we would use on a straight piece.
And then it comes up into here at an angle,
Yeah.
so
Should
46
be
inches.
46?
So, yeah.
Okay.
If you can find a 4-foot length.
Here, we got Christmas tree in your hair.
Actually, no. It would have to
5.
be longer than 4 feet.
I would
because
go
we
with
want
a
the kick
5.
up.
Yeah, I'd go with at least a 5.
From where it kicks up,
You got another foot.
up into there, yeah, you got another foot. So.
Yeah.
The other thing, take a look back here. We're going to have to add a bar at the back to protect the gas tank, I think.
Yeah. We decided that would be a wise idea because
There's one bar on.
there's
but
a bar on
it's
here that
too
goes
high.
between these mounts, which is pretty strong.
Yeah.
But we're thinking, this
Another
is
one underneath.
underneath, because if you get somebody with a little Honda or something with a bar on the front, if it goes underneath here,
Yeah.
it's going to hit the gas tank.
Yeah. Okay.
So we're thinking of,
The modifieds dropped it down and across.
yeah,
And then had a couple of braces in the middle.
yeah,
And normally they were far enough back that they could run a diagonal brace up
Yeah,
in the
yeah.
middle, but here
We can't do it in the
tank
middle.
we can't, but
This-
we could do it up the sides here.
That side we
Big
can.
long ones.
This side's a bit tougher because the tank's not centered on the car. It's over.
All right.
you check with Mike or Brock with their, if they have if one of them has a tank this size that we could have as a spare just in case. Sometimes
This side isn't as bad as I thought it was.
I think we could pond it down and then just
Yeah.
do a lip around here.
I think it might be a good idea too for us to dig up some spare tail lights that we can mount up in case those get smashed. You have to have one working at all time.
Yeah, so doing that, then we can, depending on where the car got smacked, put them here, you can put them there, like you can put them anywhere.
We're going to be refueling on the traffic side.
Yeah.
That's not a problem.
No, fix the handbrake and we can do a 180 when we come into the pits.
Okay.
But yeah, like I said, my thoughts with the body was not to try and make it look too pretty. 'Cause even if we throw some paint over, just
Yeah.
tuck it in, because obviously this is
Yeah,
not safe.
like that could be. That could be dollied back straighter.
Yeah, and then this,
But
even
just
this,
I wouldn't bother puttying
push it.
Well,
No,
there's a lot
push
of
it a little bit
fiberglass
out,
in
and
it, Bob.
maybe
Yeah.
put a few pieces
But
in
I
more.
would go and
Get rid of the loose
I'd
putty.
get rid of all the loose putty.
Yeah. There's an awful lot of it on this car.
And then the only other thing would be a lip on the wheel wells.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, the fender, that's it. The fender, it needs to be straightened, but also need to, like it was bolted at one time, this bolt pulled through, now there's one,
Yeah.
there's like one here. So,
Oh, that one
Just-
isn't even holding.
this one isn't anymore, this one isn't, this one still is, but it's loose. Could pull through, because we don't want to have them do a pit stop, because the body's flopping, so.
No, these only open when the hood's open.
Yeah, you have to have the hood on.
Okay.
The hood holds them down.
So I was
Yeah.
thinking of these in terms of
Yeah, I'd
Venting.
mentioned we want some venting.
Yeah.
We
that's-
just take those right off.
Yeah, well, that's what I said to Scott. If we put longer hood pins, just put a shock bushing on there. And
Yeah.
push it down against the shock bushing. You can actually get the pins tight, and then it'll sit up like that. And then
Yeah.
Let's see, this is where the sidebar at the top is up here. That was the only problem. This was moved over this way.